GMAT is usually something that stops people from applying for many universities. Now, you need to understand that GMAT is just a part of your application. It is not majorly your application, and many a times I've seen students not apply for universities because they do not have a good GMAT score. So in this video, we will be talking about those universities in Canada where you can do an MBA from, in which you do not require a GMAT. So without further ado, let's directly jump into it. First, let's start the list by Hec Montreal, which is actually a very good university. Both the MBA plus as well as MBA plus, in which you have to study in French, they do not require GMAT. You can skip GMAT if you do not like it, and instead of GMAT, you can go for GRE, or they have another exam called TAGE, MAGE. You can give that exam, but this was like just one university which has an alternative. So here you do not completely get to skip GMAT, you have to give some other exam, but there are other universities where you can completely skip GMAT as well. In this university, as an international student, your total MBA fees would be 36,07,691. So $59,000 is what you'll be paying. And for enrollment, you will have to show 3 years of work experience, and alongside with 3 years of work experience, you would also need to show English proficiency, or if you're going for a French degree, then French proficiency. Ideally, in our case, you'll have to go for an IELTS. At number 2, you have Vancouver Island University. Now in Vancouver Island University, you do not require GMAT at all, be it MBA in finance, MBA in accounting, MBA in marketing, MBA in HR, any MBA that you go for, you do not require a GMAT. But let's suppose you do not have a bachelor's degree and you have significant years of work experience and you want to go for an MBA, you can still go for an MBA, but in that case, you would require GMATs. But if you have a good score in your undergrad degree, you can actually apply for an MBA without GMAT score as well. The total tuition fees that you'll be paying would be 19,38,000, so somewhere around $31,000. And since you are not providing your GMAT scores, you should have at least B level. B would mean somewhere around more than 75% in your undergraduate degree. Alongside with that, English would also be a requirement, and in IELTS you would expect somewhere between 7 to 9. So if your scores are 7 to 9, that's fine. So B as well as 7 to 9 are the admission requirements for this college. At number 3, we have Whitman School of Business. Now Whitman has GMAT as an optional thing. You can go and apply without GMATs as well. If you do give GMATs, it would actually help you if you have a good GMAT score, but you can apply without GMATs as well. And a good thing about Whitman, it has partnerships with very, very good companies. It has partnerships with Tesla, and it also has a partnership with Discover. I was falling short of the name. It has partnership with Discover as well. So the partnerships it has with industry are also really good. You will be spending somewhere around 39,22,000 for an MBA degree, which is somewhere around $50,490. Now, work experience is also optional in this case, but you will have to submit your CV, your SOPs, your letter of recommendations. Alongside with all of this, you will also have to submit your IELTS score. So all of that would still be required, but work experience again is optional in this case. Next, you have Ivey Business School. No, not that Ivey. Ivey. Yes, Ivey Business School, and it is a part of Western Universities of Canada. It gives you a GMAT waiver for executive MBA only. So for those people who have professional work experience and want to go for MBA, it does give you a waiver, but then it is a bit expensive. The total tuition fees that you will be paying as an international student would be 74,62,000, so somewhere around 1,20,600 Canadian dollars. It also gives you a GMAT waiver if you have done CFA. So if you have cleared all 3 levels of CFA, it gives you a GMAT waiver completely. For enrollment, you would require 2 years of work experience. Alongside with that, your IELTS or TOEFL score, 2 reference letters as well, and as well as all of these things, you would also require an undergraduate degree. Next, we have Degroote Business School. It is considered amongst the best business schools in Canada. It comes under McMaster University, and its QS rankings all over the world is really good. So it comes under top 150 to 200 universities all across the world. It's really good, and it has a GMAT waiver for only one specific type of MBA. Only the accelerated MBA program has a waiver, and the total fees for that is 53,25,000, so somewhere around 86,000 Canadian dollars. but the GMAT waiver is applicable only for those people who have a very high GPA. Now this GPA keeps on changing. You can visit the website and they can tell you that this is the GPA that they require, and if you have like 3.5 or 3.6, 3.7, so if you have a GPA higher than that, you do not need to give GMAT. But obviously if you're applying to such a big university, giving a GMAT would be a good thing. But even if you're not scoring well in GMAT, you can actually apply for it. The minimum work experience for this you require is 4 years. You should also have 75% or more in your bachelor's degree. A CV would be required, online interview, 2 letter of recommendations, a TOEFL or an IELTS score would also be required. And for TOEFL 100 to 120, and for IELTS 7 to 9 should be your band. Next, you have New York Institute of Technology in Vancouver, British Columbia. It does not require a GMAT score, only for 2 programs. One is a management MBA and the other one is the finance MBA. So for only these 2 programs, it does not require a GMAT, but apart from that, it does require GMAT scores for all the other programs. The total tuition fees that you'll be paying for an MBA per year would be around 12,58,000, so approximately 25 lakh rupees, and which is around 16,200 CAD. Now, work experience is not required here, which is actually I do not usually like a university not asking for work experience if you're going for an MBA, but still this university says that work experience is not required. You should also have a GPA of 3 out of 4, or in terms of percentage, you should have at least 83% in your undergrad degree. While GMAT is not actually required, but it is preferable. So the website says it's preferable. Next, you have Thompson Riverson University, which is actually considered a very money-friendly university. Now in this university, again, GMAT is not required. The total tuition fees that you'll be paying would be around 8,92,000 rupees per year, which translates to somewhere around 19 lakh rupees. And in terms of dollars, it's $28,000 is what you'll be paying. The IELTS score expected from you is 7 to 9 band, and your GPA is expected to be at least 3 out of 4. A GMAT score is not required, but if the degree committee, the admission committee, feels like you do require or you do lag in some areas, they would ask you to give a GMAT, but then they would ask you to give a GMAT. Not that you have to apply with it, if you can apply without it, and then if they feel like, okay, you lag here, they can tell you apply with your GMAT score and then we will accept you, and that way you can go and apply for the GMATs after you make the application. Finally, you have Queen's University Smith School. Now it does not require GMAT for the accelerated MBA program. It does not require MBA, but then the tuition fees that you'll be paying would be around 63,65,000, or which is somewhere around $1,04,100 per year. But then there is a catch. Your undergraduate degree should have some specific things. What should it have? So your undergraduate degree should be either in business or related to fields like accounting, statistics, marketing, and so on. Apart from that, you would also be academically very strong, and you would also need reference letters and letter of recommendations and statement of purposes. So there is a lot of things that you would require for this program. The school might just ask you to take the GMAT exam if you lag behind in any of these statistics, accounting, or business fields. They'll see your transcripts. If they feel like you lag in any of these areas, they might ask you to give the GMATs. Now, when we talk about this entire list, we again have Schulich, which sometimes asks you to give a GRE, and there are many other universities, but one thing is for sure, any university which says that GMAT is optional, just be a bit skeptical about that university. The university that I've talked about are not actually that scary. They're actually good universities, fine universities. I'll not say good universities. Some of them are very good universities, but fine universities. But any university that asks you that GMAT is optional, just be a bit curious. Why are they not asking for GMAT? What are they asking for other than GMAT? If they're asking for nothing, just be a bit curious, because here in Canada, I've seen so many scams. I've seen people come to universities which are not even well recognized and they end up learning nothing. So please don't waste your hard-earned money, even if that's like 10 lakh or 8 lakh. Don't waste your hard-earned money of your parents. If you have an idea of coming to Canada just for the sake of getting a PR, just for the sake of working here, just for the sake of making money, that's a separate thing. Then get admission in the cheapest university possible. I have already made a reel on the cheapest universities in Canada. You can get admission there. Why are you coming for an MBA? But then if you're coming for an MBA with the sole purpose of learning and then applying those skills, then make sure to go to a better university rather than thrifting on the money, or rather than not applying with a GMAT. So if GMAT can make you go to a better university, just sitting and studying for 1 or 2 months would make you to go to a better university. I would any day of the week do that, because life is big. 1 or 2 weeks, or in fact a month of studying would change. If that changes a part of my life, or else it changes a major chunk of my life, I would any day do that. So with that all being said, if you guys have any doubts, do let me know in the comment section. Also, please watch this video because this would be interesting for you. Thank you so much for watching.